Well, good day everyone. Welcome back to Adventure Rider. Travis here. I'm going to do a video today, again involving my BMW R18, but it's due for its first 1000k service. So I'm going to be driving it into Melbourne, and I thought what I'd do is, I know I did a ride review of this, a brief ride review on the freeway, which is another video on my channel, but I thought today what I'd do is I'd do a demonstration of a couple of the features and a bit more commentary around whether this is a good cruising bike for a highway or for long distance. Now, one of the things I want to try out and film is the adaptive cruise control, which the bike has. Also the heated grips, heated seat, and just a general feel of the bike sitting at a sort of higher speed for a longer period of time. And now I think the thing that will probably make a difference is this windscreen, which I've gone for the larger screen, which is similar to the Transcontinental model screen. So I've already done a video on the installation of that screen and a ride and the effects on it. So so that's already sort of been covered, but I'll have a look at that again when we're riding on the highway. The other thing I want to do too is just very quickly talk about the first service for these bikes, a couple of recall issues from BMW Motorrad, which is the reverse gear lever. And also there's some circuitry in the low beam of the lights of these bikes. And I don't know whether that applies to other models, but certainly anything with a reverse gear, there is a recall. They're removing some circuitry, and then what that means for people going forward, there is a bit of a compensation for that. So I'll take a bit of footage at the BMW Motorrad dealership in Melbourne, and then we'll talk about that, and then a little bit about overall how this bike has been in my first 1000 Ks of riding, with a particular focus on highway long distance touring. So that's the video for today. I'll get going, and hopefully the next clip will be on the road, and we'll talk a little bit about the heated grips and seat and how it goes on the highway, and really a bit about the adaptive cruise control, the different levels of that control, and how that operates. So I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, please click the like button, because what it does do is it just helps to get it out there for those who may be thinking of looking at this bike to buy. And also, if you could subscribe, that's fantastic. Of course, you know it's free to subscribe, and we're still a relatively new channel, and we're very slowly getting a few more subscribers. So I'd really love to build that up for the channel. All right, with that said, I'll get going, and we'll see you on the road shortly. Cheers.
I just thought I'd make a mention of the heated grips and the heated seat on this bike. As you can see down here, temperature's 8 degrees. It was actually about 6 degrees a little further back. And I thought I'd try the heated grips and the heated seat. And I must say, BMW, you have done an amazing job with these heated grips and seat. When I first went to put it on, you'll see I'll do it on the menu. Click down. It's under menu settings. As you scroll, you know, if you're scrolling across, get onto this and then hit that, and then you've got your heating option. So you click across because the arrow's across, and then you've got both your heated grips and your heated seating. Now, silly me, what I did was I pushed into heated, say this one, heated grips, and it gives you a dial, and you can just use the toggle and see how it's going up and down. I thought that was it. I thought, oh yeah, it's on number 4, boom, I'll just go back, back. I thought, oh yeah, heated grips are on, and I'm thinking, gee, they're not really, not as warm, I can't really feel them, and I've got my winter gloves on, because it's quite a cool morning. But what you've got to do is when you go in to the settings again, to the heating, and you've got the heating grip, and that you go into it, when you choose the heat you want, you've actually got to, it's already on now, so actually if I turn it, I'll go back down, C2, if I go to one that you've got to hit across to do OK, and I didn't do that, so I'll put it back on 3, which is what it was on, and it should stay on that because that was a setting I had it on. Yeah, so just a little thing I know, a lot of you probably know this, but when you go onto your heated seat or heated grips, when you get to your desired level, make sure you push across to say OK, otherwise they won't come on. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm on the highway, And just remember, I've got the highest screen here, which I put on, and for those of you who just joined us, I do have another video on how I fitted that, and also the wind deflectors, so have a look at that if you like. But this is just a bit more of a, I suppose, a comment about, is this a good highway tourer, and a little bit about the cruise control. Okay, so we're back on, and we're just going to test that adaptive cruise control on this truck. So I've got the cruise set, and I won't show you how to set it. Obviously cruise, flick it on, and then you've got your set button. I've got it set to 115. It will not allow me to go any closer to this truck with the cruise control on, so I'm sitting on 105. Now with this button here, that allows you to adapt the cruise control to a set sort of distance. So at the moment, if I click it and you look on the dashboard, I've got it on 3. Now 3 is the furthest back from the truck, so 3, it'll automatically keep you a further distance back. If I hit 3, again, it's gone to 2. What that'll do, and I can feel it already speeding up a bit, if you can see 113, 114, it's just pushing me a bit closer to that truck, and I've got it set to 115, so if I get within a certain distance of that truck, it's going to maintain that truck speed. Right, so it's put me that close. I can already feel the speed washing off, as you can see, 113, 112, 111. That's about the distance that it'll be on if you're on the second bar. And if I push again down to the first bar, the bike's getting me a lot closer to that truck. So there you go, it's pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward. I'll just move out the way of the lane of this bloke. Oh, when I crossed the lane, I could see it. Wow, because the adaptive didn't see that truck, it saw the middle, it just started speeding up to 115, and now that I'm in behind the truck, the beams obviously hit that truck. I've got it on setting 1, so now, even though I've set on 115 cruise, it's sitting on 180, it will not go close to that truck. So yeah, so a good I suppose safety feature if you're doing long distance and you just want to take it easy and sit behind a big truck or something like that. Just set your cruise. Now that he's moved out of the way, my speed has gone up, because it's not registering the truck anymore on the adaptive cruise at the front. So it's now going to sit on 115-ish. If I get in behind the truck, bang, starts to wash off the speed already. So washing it off down to 110, just to allow that truck to get its distance. And I'm on setting 1, so that's as close as I'll go. I've got a truck behind me, so I'll be right. So I'm on 1. I want to go to 3. It goes from 1 to 3, back to 2. It's washing off a bit more speed to give me a little bit more distance between me and the truck. So yeah, the adaptive cruise control, it's automatic. I believe it's automatic when you set your cruise on. It'll set it to whatever you can set it. So that button there, just you can cycle through 2. It'll go to 1. Then it'll go back to 3, and that'll push me back, which I can feel it already backing off. You keep pushing it. It cycles from 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, just by pushing that button. So yeah, adaptive cruise control, bit of a novelty on a motorbike. I don't know if many other motorbikes have it. Is it useful? Yeah, look, it is useful. Like I said, if you're going to do long Ks on a highway, and I'll just push myself back from that truck a bit. I'm on 3 now, so I'm just going to wash off a little bit of speed and let that get a bit of distance. Yeah, so yeah, it's useful. Like I said, this is a perfect example. Sitting on a highway, I don't really want to overtake the truck. I'm quite happy to sit at this speed, and it'll keep me at this speed. I won't get any closer, and I won't get any further back, because it'll just lock onto the truck, and there you go. Now, so how does it go as a highway cruiser? Yeah, pretty good. Like you can see here, I'm in that band of, I'm all right on 3,000 revs here, but I'm only in 5th gear, and I'm doing 110, no worries. Yeah, this bike on a highway is great. You just kick it back into 6th gear, nice and relaxed, and it cruises along. The big thing I think that's made a difference is that windscreen and those side wind deflectors. In the other video I mentioned about where the wind's hitting me, so there's no wind here, there's no wind hitting my helmet, it's actually going up over the helmet, this screen on, so I'm getting no buffeting, nothing. I feel like I'm in a nice bubble. Now a lot of people on these bikes complain about the fact you can't put your feet up anywhere, and I get it, because of these big cylinders sticking out of the side. You can, and I haven't put the bar on yet, I'm getting a front crash bar, and you can get a fitting that goes on top of the crash bar. It's like a step, and it comes back, so it comes back right over the cylinder guard, so you can actually just put your leg up and rest. So you can do that on this bike, but you just have to buy a couple of those things. But for me, coming from an adventure bike and prior to that naked bikes and all that, I'm used to this, keeping my feet, and with the floorboards it's actually more comfortable than my other bikes. So for me, not an issue. For others, they might want to put their feet forward, that's fair enough, but you can buy things to help you do that. Bike's quite good low centre of gravity of the weight, so it's not getting pushed around. Today's not an overly windy day, but still, you know, when you're doing these sort of speeds, you can feel the wind. Obviously, if you put your hand out here, you will. And the beauty of the lower deflectors, again, that I mentioned in that video, is that it stops a lot of the air coming up over this tank section. Keep my eye on the road here. On this tank section. So before I had them, the wind was coming up here and was hitting me on the side of the hip, on the sort of lower part of my guts, on both sides. And you know, like, it's okay, but in terms of if you're going to do a lot of higher speed cruising, I really recommend you get those deflectors and have a look at the bigger screen. The stock screen only comes up to about there. At this speed, I was getting hit on the top of the visor, and after a bit of a long distance, you know, you get a bit of a sore neck. Whereas with the screen, I'm not feeling anything, and the quicker you go, obviously, the higher it pushes the air up over you. So I'm not getting anything on my helmet, which is amazing. So yeah, here I am sitting, cruising in 6th gear, doing 110, 115, and this is 110 highway too, just in case you're wondering.
Well, g'day, back again. I'm just at the BMW dealership here in Melbourne, Victoria, and I've just put my bike in for its first 1,000 kilometre service, or in miles, about 600 mile first service. Now, interestingly, and I'll just show you this footage while I'm talking, what happened was, and some of you on the forums have already said this with the R18s, particularly with the reverse gear, the service manager informed me that they're recalling, or when you get your bike serviced, the R18s, they're disengaging the reverse gear, because apparently there was some wiring harness issue where moisture could get in. So they're actually disabling it completely, not fixing it on the day today. But in recognition of that, BMW have decided that all clients, certainly in Victoria, Australia anyway, all clients will get a free 3-year full inclusive service pack on their bike, as a I suppose as a compensation for the fact that you're not going to have reverse gear. Now, I asked the sales rep, sales manager, will we ever get a reverse gear fixed? And he said, yeah, it's in the process of being done at the moment. So I don't know how long it'll take, but it will get fixed. And I have seen these comments on some of the forums and Facebook sites, and saying that, yeah, they've had similar recalls or issues with the reverse gear lever. So really, I mean, I haven't really used the reverse gear lever that much, to be honest, but pretty good of them to BMW, that is Motorrad, to give us a full 3-year inclusive service, which is the inclusive one. You've got the 2 levels. You've got one that's just the oil change service, and then you've got what they call a fully inclusive service. And I think for the R18, if you wanted to buy that package for 5 years, it was over $3,000. So I didn't buy it. I decided to just do my first service and then decide from there whether I would purchase the the service package or not. So as it turns out, the guy this morning said your service today will be free, and you'll get free servicing for the next 3 years, which I'm pretty happy with, because apparently the service today is just basically an oil change and an inspection of the bike, and they'll fix that recall stuff, and it was about $550 just for that. And then he said to me the next service is a major service, and it can cost upwards of $1,500 for a service, which is pretty damn pricey, to be honest. Yeah, so I'm happy with the fact that it's all fully included as a result of the compensation of that reverse gear. They're also doing, he said, a recall, not a recall, they're checking the light. Apparently the front headlight has some issue as well with moisture or something similar, so they check that while they're here, and I think they'll replace a part for that, because obviously that'll need to be fixed. So yeah, so here I am at BMW in Melbourne, and it's an amazing showroom here with cars and the Motorrad department here, which is, as you can see on the wall there, the bikes are just over there. So yeah, so booked in. I think it'll be a couple of hours wait. You can see here a couple of other R18s on the showroom floor here. We've got a Roctane and that one there, and the next one, the black, is a classic, which actually the classic looks quite nice because it's got I think I like the front lights on it and windscreen, and it's got the thicker front tyre. Yeah, quite a nice looking bike. Yeah, so there you go. I thought I'd just throw it on, show you a little bit of this dealership here, and explain a little bit about that reverse gear.
I'm back again. I've just left BMW Motorrad in Melbourne. Just had the bike service for its first 1,000 Ks, and yeah, so the first 1,000 Ks I thought it was just a bit of an inspection. I'd heard someone say, oh, they don't really do anything, but no, they do a full oil change, filter, I think even the oil in the rear shaft area, and they've also taken into account those two faults, or recalls I should say. One was with the front headlight, and mine was fine. I think it's something to do with the low beam, can get moisture or something like that. And as I sort of mentioned when I was in the dealership, the reverse brake has been disengaged. They've removed the risky circuit board or whatever it is in there, which prevents it from working properly. And BMW have come good to their honest that because of the inconvenience caused by not having a reverse gear until it is fixed, and then you obviously take the bike in and it'll get fixed free of charge. But until that's done, they've given me a free 3-year full inclusive service package from today. So I suppose you can't be too disappointed. It's you're worth quite a bit. I think I sort of mentioned the first service was meant to be around about $500, give or take $50, and now I don't know whether this is true or not. This is the service bloke at the desk saying, oh yeah, the next service is a major one, and it could cost upwards of about $1,500 to service it. So all of that will be covered under the 3-year full inclusive service. And the reason I say this is because if any of you out there at any stage, you don't have to, doesn't have to be your first service, at any stage within your 5-year warranty period, mention the reverse. Well, they'll probably say it anyway when you get it serviced if you get it done at a Motorrad dealer. So if they don't mention it, just push it, because it is meant to be a BMW. Well, I was told a national BMW policy for the R18s with the reverse gear. The bike seems, well, I don't know whether it's because of the service, but I think I mentioned in a previous video, and look, I think it's just because the bike's running in, it's new, but on the throttle I just noticed there's a little bit of a dead spot when you're at the lights or when you're in an idle, and you just you know, apply the throttle, that there is just a little lag gap. You know, there was nothing, and then all of a sudden it came in. And it was really a fueling issue, and I thought, oh, maybe it is a running an issue. But I just noticed after the first 1,000 K service that it's actually a lot better. So look, I don't know whether it's something they adjust or whatever, but it seems a little bit more peppy. And I'll just make sure I've got it. Yeah, I've got it in rock mode. A little bit more peppy, just taking off, which is good. So it sort of ironed out that little bit of, oh look, you guys mightn't even have it on your bike. It was just this bike had a little bit of a dead spot just on takeoff, but now that seems to have been rectified. yeah, so there you go. That's the servicing side of it done. I hope some of that information was handy to you, or those who are about to get your 1,000, or even those who are about to get your 10,000, or whatever case it is. Definitely push the issue on that, the reverse gear and the service package. And like I said before, in terms of revs and cruising, like I'm in 5th now, and it's just on that too. Like I said before, anything for me on this bike, I don't know about your bikes, anything under the 2,000 mark in whatever gear, it just starts to lug. You know, like it's over now. So if like that's okay, it's coming on the torque, but anything below that, I just find it's a bit laggy. So for cruising on a highway, if I go up into 6th, there you go. I mean, I know I'm only doing 80 k's, but it's under the 2,000 mark, and it's lugging. It's almost lugging in 6 at this speed. So I'll throw it back to 5th. Yeah, but on in 6th gear, like honestly, you could sit on 120, 130 if you want, not an issue. And the vibrations, which I thought would be there up and above the 3,000 mark, they're actually not. Where the vibration comes in is, say, 2nd gear or 3rd gear, more 2nd and 1st. When you get it up over the 3, you can feel the vibrations given the gearing, and that sort of makes it's really noticeable. But when you're up in 5th and 6th and you hit over 3, I'm finding on this bike there's no vibration. It's still smooth and comfortable, you know, comfortable to sit on a highway at 110, 120, no worries in the world, cruise all day. The only thing I did notice was the fuel, and I suppose because it's a big boxer motor, 1800 cc's, I filled it up before I come into Melbourne. I've nearly used half a tank and I'm just going back. Of course the tanks are not massive. I think they're 18, oh, look, I'll put it on the screen, I think it's 18 litres or thereabout, 16, 18 litres. But she's a bit of a thirsty motor, this one, when you sort of kick it in the guts a bit, and you know, you want to use the torque. She starts to chew on the juice. But having said that, it's a motorbike, doesn't cost much to fill up. If I really give it a bit more, and I'm in 6, it'll get up and go. But once again, these bikes aren't designed to be bloody rockets. They're a cruiser. But it'll do the speed you want, and it'll do it comfortably on a highway. And you know, I can see myself, you know, unless you know, you've got to have a stop from back, but if I was feeling the way I am now with my seat and everything like that, I could cruise for hours on this bike, not an issue in the world. And I think a lot of it's got to do with that screen. So there you are. I'm waffling on a bit. I hope you've got something out of this video. Yes, it's a great highway cruiser. Yes, the adaptive cruise control is very handy if you're going to do a long Ks. Definitely worth it. It's an option I don't think a lot of bikes have, so yeah, great. And in terms of the servicing, I sort of threw that in because I just wanted to talk a little bit about the cost, and also that reverse gear issue. And that will be an issue for all bikes with a reverse gear. I'm informed by that bloke, up to within your 5-year warranty period. So it doesn't matter if you had your bike 3 or 4 years, if it's under the 5-year period, go in, even if it's in between services, go in, say you want to get that brake issue fixed, and then put it on them for the remainder of 5 years to get a free inclusive servicing, or if you're like me, in the early warranty period, a minimum of 3 years fully inclusive. So as a result of that, what I'll do now is, once I get, you know, my 3-year ends, I'll look at what the package is, just to finish off the 5-year period. But yeah, that's it. Alright, so as always, thank you to those of you who recently subscribed to the channel. If you like the video, please click a like, and the main reason is to sort of get it out there to others who might be interested. Thank you for subscribing. We're sort of slowly building some subscribers, but you know, not a lot, but I'd really appreciate it. It doesn't cost anything if you can subscribe. And as I always say, signing off, everyone, ride carefully, ride within your limits, and be safe, and take care. Cheers.